it.
That's right. You goddamn right.
What's happening? What's good, beautiful black people? I'm CJ. I'm guest hosting tonight for TK. That nigga at work and shit. So I'm chilling with my people tonight. And I'm so happy to be here with y'all, man. We got Liz Cersei in the building. Arya the Kobe of stabbing in the building. And Queen Mother Ojenna Tyrell, Game of Thrones therapist. And I'm your host for this evening. Give a head like Dario. So, hey, it's beautiful to be up in here with y'all tonight to talk about season 3, episode 10.
Yes.
The Red Wedding Aftermath. I know that ain't the name of the motherfucker, but that's where we start off. So, yo, look, with that being said, man, what, y'all want to get right into it, or,
Yeah, man. So, I mean, the first scene is starts off with basically the direct aftermath of the Red Wedding, as far as well, actually, this is still the Red Wedding in a sense, where you basically see the Stark bannermen and everybody who has an allegiance to the Starks get slaughtered, and that's something that kind of goes on for a little bit. There's a dope scene, an overhead scene, where Roose Bolton is staring down from the height of the Frey castle, and you just see a lot of fire and chaos. And in that chaos, we pan over to Arya and the Hound, and we witness a masterful job of the Frey men sewing the head of Grey Wind onto the body of Robb Stark, which,
bro,
I mean, I got to be honest, that shit was sick as shit. But I mean, kudos to the actual fucking creativity on the fly.
How they do this shit so fast though?
Yeah, bro, the way they had to stitch that shit together, I'm like, wow, I forgot about how fucking
yeah, that shit
it was, but actually how kind of I was like, damn, I was like, kudos.
Well, I mean, think about it. So if Walder Frey was planning all this stuff, and he and Roose were in cahoots, certain people were gonna have certain jobs afterwards, and if that was one of the plans, because they of course killed Grey Wind when he was still in his pen, but as they killed Robb, if he said desecrate the body, or do whatever you want to it, celebrate the king in the north, and that's what they did. And so within that scene, so the Hound has Arya, and they're up on a horse, and they're trying to find out which way to go and get out of there. And then Arya sees this, and they marching them through the grounds of through the campgrounds. And so I have to say that this is really the point where Arya breaks. So if we were going to get a supervillain story, this would be the Trace moment that turned everything dark for her.
So this is Arya's for sure origin story, is what you're saying? This is the breaking point. She became the Joker. Did she become the Joker? Did she become Batman? I gotta think about it. TK might get pissed off if I say she was Batman.
Yeah, I was about to say, nigga, don't mention Batman.
That nigga Tyrus was
he will log off of work and log into this podcast.
Right. Exactly.
That nigga is the most anti-Batman.
But this is also the origin story of the father-daughter relationship between Arya and the Hound, right? The Hound is basically protecting Arya this whole entire time.
Right.
I mean, it's something to where it's Ned Stark might have been your father, but I'm your goddamn daddy, girl.
That's some real shit. And you know what, Leslie? Oh no, I'm a bad. I mean, you know what stood out to me about that is the fact that the fucking Hound went through fire to make sure he protected her in that moment, and it's like he didn't even give a fuck about the fire. Like that's the first time it didn't seem like the fire was
factor for him,
right?
Like saving her was
protecting her was the most significant thing in that moment. So I thought that was a really good point that you made. Is there anything else like about that particular scene that stood out to any of you, or that you feel like was important to remember or highlight?
Yes, when they were trying to ride out, and he kept turning the horse so she wouldn't see her brother being paraded by. He grabbed a flag, banner. Yeah. And at first I thought, the first time I saw it, I thought it was a Stark banner. I was like, well, damn, that was kind of stupid because they killing Starks. But this time I got a good look at it, and it was a Frey banner.
That's right. So, get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, so they wouldn't bother him when they are riding out of there, like he's going to take a message somewhere. Because she's so small and he's holding her with one arm, nobody's gonna see her up against him anyway.
Yeah. Listen, what about you? What do you think about that?
Just the psychological aspect of Arya having to see yet again another one of her family members brutally murdered. It just is heartbreaking. And she's a little girl. So it's like, how can she continue? Like, first watch, you think, how can she continue at this point after all the devastation she's seen? Like, what's going to happen to her was the biggest question in my mind.
Yeah, that's facts. So we move right into Sansa and Tyrion walking in the courtyard. This is like essentially right after their marriage, and they're having a conversation. And as they're walking together, people in King's Landing, like particularly men, are whispering and laughing as they walk past. Can y'all talk about that scene a little bit? Leslie, can you kind of
like specifically a nigga named Desmond Craycord who Tyrion said that if a nigga's name is Desmond Craycord, that motherfucker's a pervert. All right, so I mean, sorry for everybody out there in the world named Desmond Craycord. You are a fucking predator. But Tyrion and Sansa sort of walking together just shows you not only that Tyrion is vindictive, because this is the first time of him actually mentioning a list, even though he doesn't go as far as to say it's a kill list, but he was like, the fear of death is just works just as well. But also how naive Sansa is and her like idea of what revenge is, to the point where she doesn't even say the word shit when she's mentioning a plot that has shit in it, literally.
Yeah.
Right. I was wondering what the fuck she was saying. Like, at first I was like, what the fuck is she saying?
Yeah, like, and so she says sheep, right? Like, and so Tyrion was like, what the fuck is sheep? Like, and she's like, oh, that's the foul word for, essentially doo-doo. And Tyrion is like, what the fuck? Meantime, the whole time, Shay's crazy ass is just looking at their interaction, because this is a certain interaction where it is actually like some semblance of a relationship building, and Shay's just like eyeing Tyrion the whole fucking time.
Yeah, Shay ain't really feeling none of this shit. Like,
she ain't really feeling none of that shit. But God damn it, just leave. Leave.
Listen, that damn Burns, he tried to,
Right, and she's torturing herself by staying there. I just don't. And that character is just so fucking frustrating. I don't know if they wrote her wrong, or if they or if it's the actress, or if it's fucking both.
I'm wondering if men wrote her character.
Yeah, no, like I wonder if I don't know who she knew to get that role. The actress. I don't know what she did. I don't know if she did some Shay shit.
She's a cousin, or
right? I don't know if she did some Shay shit to get Shay. But goddamn, like, I mean, was this casting before the Me Too movement started? Like,
oh Lord, no, it's like the scene on "I'm Gonna Get You Sucking" when Kim Wayans is singing in the background. They're like, God damn, who the fuck is that over there? Oh, that's the director. That's the director.
That's the director.
That's a director system in this motherfucker.
But I mean, but her character, man, and the way she's written and her fucking acting skills and that accent, all that shit, just if she don't even talk, and this is just fucking annoying me. Like just by her looking a certain way at Tyrion. Like I'm just like, yo, like you don't belong here. Why the fuck?
Nestle, do you need to set up an appointment on my couch, darling? Because that is some deep-seated hate, baby.
Yeah, nah, fuck that. I don't need no goddamn appointment. I know exactly where I stand.
And you stand in it.
I hate it.
He has definitely been consistent. He's been consistent for a long time on Shay and her accent and just everything accent, about her. Man. Everything God, about Shay.
Awful fucking like just subplot line, which is just like, I mean, God damn.
Well, I feel like in the coming seasons you will, feel better.
So, I appreciate that. I appreciate that bit of foreshadowing.
Yeah. So I mean, we sticking with Tyrion, man. Like, who is Tyrion funny as fuck to me. I like rewind this next scene a few times. So Tyrion gets summoned to, I guess, the small council. And as soon as he walks in, he says to Joffrey, so why are you so happy? Did you fucking kill a few little puppies or something?
Yeah.
Puppies today?
And I feel like Tyrion is everybody normal in that moment when he says that to him, because he at that point doesn't have any awareness to why it is that Joffrey is so giddy in that moment. And Cersei, can you kind of give us some insight on what's happening in this moment and break that scene down for us, particularly the conversation between Tyrion and Joffrey?
Sure. So Tyrion and Joffrey are in the small council. Tyrion was called to the small council quickly. So him and Pot had actually started to drink. Of course, Tyrion's drinking. And then he gets called to the small council. He goes up there, and you can already tell by the look on Joffrey and Cersei's face that they just are... They glory in devastation. Like, they could not wait to see his face when Joffrey told him the young wolf was dead. So he told him that Robb Stark got killed, and he was going to make Sansa eat some of his head.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
What's happening? That shit fucked me up a little bit. My bad. My bad.
Like, where did white nigga come from?
So Liz seriously was just telling us about how Joffrey was trying to make Sansa eat some of her brother Robb's head, and so that's where we were. So please continue, Liz seriously.
Yes. Well, one thing before he even said that, when he told Tyrion that Robb was dead, Robb and Catelyn and everybody was dead, Tyrion just looked so defeated. Like, he was shocked. You could read it all over his face. And that's as far as the acting, like, you've been married to this woman for 2 days. You're not even getting any, and you're really feeling for her because, one, she's a child, and two, she just lost the rest of her family. So how in the world are you going to tell her this? And then you have your nephew and your sister just sitting there just eating it up and laughing and thinking that it's funny. So Tyrion was quite upset with them, as he always is. And Joffrey proceeds to tell Tyrion that he's going to make Sansa eat some of her brother's head. And
that shit was wild.
That's some insane shit to say. And he was all joking. He was all joking about it.
Like just when you think that nigga has gone as far as he could possibly go. Like, he like, oh, not
nigga
only have we killed him.
He said, watch this.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
Right.
Ursha baby.
Ursha baby.
Yeah.
Hey, Ursha baby.
And even Cersei was like, oh, you're not serious. And he was like,
the fuck I'm not.
But then Tyrion looked up at him.
One thing about Joffrey, that nigga gonna always stand on business.
Oh yeah. He gonna always stand on that sinister shit.
He gonna stand on that business.
He gonna stand on that sinister shit.
That nigga Tyrion said she not yours to antagonize anymore.
Yeah.
Tyrion
went into protective mode and bucked up.
Big time. And of course, Joffrey starts talking about, I am the king, and good old Tywin.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
I was liking Varys' that goddamn Varys.
That damn Varys.
Not Varys.
Not Varys. His antics during the whole thing, because he tripping the fuck out. He usually keep a good poker face, but even
the nigga who I liked the best was Grandmaster Pycelle.
That nigga
when he put that note, the fake old man thing, he was like, hey, and Tyrion was like, I want to beat your ass so fucking bad right now.
That shit was
that was funny.
Master Pycelle be really be tripping me the fuck out though, man. When he plays the old man role, when he dropped that shit on Tyrion, and then he tried to when Tyrion told Joffrey essentially watch that king shit. It looked like a lot of them dropping like flies these days.
Yeah,
I mean that's the second time in as many episodes that Tyrion has told Joffrey
2 minute one-liners he done dropped on that boy.
Yeah, he keep
2 minute one-liners on that boy head. The one-liners gonna come back to get him. He better.
And that was a good. And when Tyrion said, like monsters, like monsters are dangerous and kings are dropping like flies, that was great camera work after that, because Joffrey immediately started looking at everybody, and everybody was like,
what the fuck you want us to do?
They were like, he's right.
Hey, he's talking to you, motherfucker.
Right. The funniest part of the whole fucking scene though was fucking Tywin being like, "Hey man, somebody take this little nigga to bed if I whoop his ass."
Yeah.
I mean, it was because
man, Tywin is not here for the bullshit.
So Valerian, let me ask you this, bro. So, do you think that when Joffrey, this is the first time Joffrey ever tried to get booked with Tywin, and immediately we see who the king really is,
Shut that shit down.
Can you kind of go into the insight and dynamics of that?
And I think it even went back to that. Well, what was it, like a couple episodes earlier when Tywin walked up the stairs on that nigga? So the shit was really kind of stemming from that. I think at that point in time, Joffrey wanted to challenge Tywin at that point, but Tywin kind of put him in his place a little bit more subtly. So this time, I think he was really like, Rob is dead. Like I said, he come in the room, he's all happy and jovial about the shit. So he really in his, oh, nigga, I'm the king. I killed, shit like this. Joffrey think he is directly responsible for this. Not even knowing that Tywin is the mastermind behind everything. As you can see when he holler about, well, my dad, he fought in the real war and you was at Castle Rock. And them niggas like, psh, psh. Everybody, it was like a collective silent in the room from everybody in that bitch, because they like, okay, yeah, the little nigga tripping. So when Tywin like, hey man, take little buddy to bed, man. I don't want to. I really whoop his ass in here in front of everybody. Like, you better take him to bed. And then,
what did he tell Maester? What did he tell Maester Pycelle? Give us some
that nigga some essence of nightshade.
To help the king sleep. Let me ask you a question real quick. So, hypothetically, right? Let's just say in a hypothetical universe, everybody's living in the same position they are 5 to 10 years from now. Does Tywin still have that type of power over Joffrey? Joffrey, 5 to 10 years from then, what is that version of Joffrey doing, and how does he react to Tywin?
It depends on like how shit shake, because I feel like it would have been if there had been years of this with Tywin and Joffrey, it would have been like a power struggle the whole time, and Joffrey as he got older, each year, each closer to being
like exactly.
60.
Try to test his limits a little bit more.
Yeah. Now when he hit. Because, like, at this point, technically, Joffrey still ain't even supposed to be giving out orders and shit, because the little nigga ain't even 16 at this point.
Exactly.
So,
at
this point, you're not even considered a man grown, so he can't even rule his own kingdom. So, it would be interesting to see if we could have saw Joffrey at 16 in the actual fucking ruler of the Seven Kingdoms, because right now, Tywin is really ruling in his stead as Hand of the King. So, Tywin has the power fucking literally, theoretically, financial, like in every facet of this shit, Tywin has all the power. So,
he would have had him killed.
What, Joffrey?
At some point, Joffrey would have had Tywin killed.
But that's my thing, though, right? Who would say like, okay, I'll go.
Right? Who would agree to it?
Everybody that's loyal to Joffrey is first loyal to Tywin.
Tywin's money.
Everybody in that.
Like you were saying, the financial aspect alone. I mean,
it's like it ain't a soul in that fucking castle that ain't first.
Yeah. Exactly. So Joffrey would die. I think Joffrey would die some mysterious death.
Right. I think that.
Yeah, I think Joffrey would get killed. Yeah, I think just by how sinister he is, there would have been some fucking plot afoot to try to kill that little nigga. Like 10 years into it, motherfuckers have been like, fuck this. We can't deal with this shit no more.
Yeah, because we're watching Joffrey. We're literally watching Joffrey as like a young Mad King. He's literally like, you know, Mad King in his aspect. So
do you think that
peak of the iceberg?
Do you think that his lineage, I mean, the fact that he is born of a brother and a sister, definitely
flip a coin. It's just like the Targaryens. You know, they say when the Targaryens was born, flip a coin. That's that incest. That's that nasty shit.
Y'all niggas seen Wrong Turn.
So we still in that room. We still in that room. But that was a pretty significant conversation that takes place between Tywin and Tyrion as well.
By the way, shout out to Tywin for asking Tyrion to stay. I think that was a subtle nod, just how Tywin respected.
Always. That's what I was. We've discussed that multiple times. Yeah. Like I think you've said that over the course of like the last 5 or 6 episodes. We've said that at least one time. How Tywin really respects Tyrion's acumen, even though he kind of tries to act like he doesn't. He tries to shade him, but he be talking strategy and shit with that nigga.
Exactly, because he wanted to see what his real reaction was to the Red Wedding.
And can y'all get into just a little bit, you know, because I know we do have to keep going, but can y'all get into like that the dynamics of that conversation just a little bit?
Yeah,
because they did have some good back and forth there.
Yeah, so you know, so Tyrion goes first into saying about how Walder Frey gets the credit and the blame, right? And so it's kind of a double-edged sword there, which is something that I'm pretty sure Tywin, you know, kind of courts. But this conversation between Charles Dance and Peter Dinklage is really a master class as far as acting is concerned.
Every time.
You know, because Tywin, and writing obviously, because Tywin makes the points about the nobility of killing a few men at a dinner compared to 10,000 men at a battle. You know, and this is something that you know, kind of it hits home a little bit because I saw Oppenheimer last night, right?
Oh,
and Truman had that same logic as far as dropping the atomic weapons in Japan, right? Which is like, okay, all right, how many men are going to get killed? And so they asked this hypothetical question in order to excuse something that is so evil and so sinister that, you know, that's evil and this sinister act is for the greater good of the realm, of the world, of the war, whatever you want to say it. And so, you know, so you see, you know, Tywin kind of make this argument about it, and a little bit taller. And
that's a true statement.
And Tyrion retaliates that the North is going to remember this shit forever, motherfucker. And Tywin is like, good, I hope they do. Meanwhile, Tyrion is like, well, nigga, you're going to be in the ground in a few years. We got to still live with this shit, right? This is something that actually him and Cersei actually talk about more and more. I mean, more in delve more into. But, you know, and so I thought that Tyrion actually had the trump card. Now, obviously, Tywin goes and says that, you know, the unselfish thing he did for, you know, was when he kept Tyrion alive. But at the same time, like, I felt like that Tyrion kind of called out Tywin on his bullshit of talking about family first and dynasty first, when actually he's the one making all the fucking decisions that's going to impact them long after he's fucking dead. And so, I mean, all that shit sounds good in theory, but yeah, like, you know, they got to deal with those problems when Tywin was going, hey, girl,
what's up, baby?
Hey, don't do that.
They being right.
What's wrong with her? What's wrong?
Oh. I know.
You gotta go if you're gonna cry. You can stay here, but you have a big girl.
I get it though.
I get it. It's Sunday. It's Sunday night.
Because I can't stand Shay accent either.
Hey, can I just say one thing about Shay? Have we seen a hoe this mad since Mariah Mills? God damn.
Hey, listen, she going to the whole.
This man, God damn.
Mariah Mills, she going to the Hall of Fame, dog. She finna go to the Hall of Fame, dog.
On a whole
that
level.
Joke, yeah.
Oh, I can't stand her.
Listen, Listen, free Zion. Okay, but anyway. So, hey, that scene ends with Tyrion walking in, and it's clear that Sansa has learned the news. And I don't want to glaze over that, but I do want us to.
And also shout out to Tyrion just saying that he refuses to rape his wife, which is
yeah.
Like, I mean, basically
right.
the only motherfucker in Westeros who refuses.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, this nigga is literally though like the noblest, and I know that shit ain't a word, but this nigga's the noblest fucking Lannister that ever lived.
It is on Watch
because
like
he's the noblest, whole loving Lannister there is.
old drunk ass.
Yeah, honest hoe.
Now the next scene is Bran and crew at the night fort.
There you go.
We're not quite to Shay and her bad accent yet.
Talk to us about that. Talk to us about that, Queen Mother.
So they send Mira and Summer scouting to the night fort, and she comes back, she's like, it's empty, we can go in there. And they get in there, and Hodor is playing around in the I guess it's the well or something, or the stairwell that's in the middle of the room. And he's like, Hodor.
Hodor is turned. He turned up. Like, he's Hodor and sound different than most of the Hodors.
Hodor having the time.
Hey. Oh shit!
He likes it. He likes that echo. Like, I hear me. So anyway, so then Bran starts relating the story of the rat cook, and this is probably one of the many stories that old Nan used to tell him, because he used to like to hear all the gross stories. So the tale of the rat cook is, the rat cook used to be the main cook for the Night's Watch. At the night fort, and when the king came for a visit, he was mad about something, and he killed the king's son and served it to him in a pie, in a meat pie,
and he liked it,
and the king liked it and ate it, and ate 2 helpings of it. Yeah. And so,
like, what y'all putting this motherfucker?
Yeah, it's like this, right?
Not like, but that shit did sound good. It's about some bacon, carrots, mushrooms, onions. I was like, shit.
Not that it sounded good.
Dude, that motherfucker right on up.
Right.
Oh my God! See, y'all not right. Y'all not right.
What that turmeric?
Nigga, what's this, beer?
There's some roasted rosemary potatoes I can put on the side of that. So Bran is going through this story, they are thinking that the gods turned the cook into the Rat King because of what he did as far as killing the child. And he's like, no, he got turned into the Rat King because he had guest in his house and he killed the guest. And that's against the rules.
That's right.
And so then what that shit jumped right to.
Yeah, and this is the second time we've heard that in as many episodes. What do you call it? The right of guess
right. Guess right.
Guess right.
Yeah, I think because I think Carlton and Leslie both kind of touched on that last episode.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So
but also this story is going to be returned on somebody much later. So you got to remember this story because you're going to see it in action in a later season. And that's all I can say about that.
And the foreshadowing for it was definitely there, because the next scene, it jumps right to
Roose and Walder.
So that was completely intentional, of course, by the writers, who at times them niggas did decent work with the cameras and the writing, early on especially. So I like how they took that story about Guess Right and jumped right to Walder Frey, who was just reveling in his fucking glory, eating chicken and lamb and ham or whatever the fuck he was eating. Slobbing and just spitting while he was talking, nasty fucker. But anyway, so he just sitting in there all happy and shit, talking about how he pulled off the greatest fucking murder in history, basically. Right. Talking to Roose Bolton about his new station, how he's now what does it make him? What, the Lord of Riverrun for Walder Frey and the Warden of the North?
Warden of the North for Roose
Bolton.
Yeah.
Their new station since committing this atrocity at the Red Wedding.
Yeah, Walder Frey is definitely seriously. I saw that you were about to talk about that a little bit. You want to jump in?
Oh no.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Walder Frey. So I mean, Walder Frey he like the white stink meaner to me. Like from back to like he like yes, these niggas was talking all this shit, but who talking shit now? You know what I mean? Like he's feeling real good with it, with the little teeth he got left in his head.
That is a great analogy.
That was
Walder Frey really has this huge inferiority complex. Come to my couch, come to my therapist's couch.
Talk to it.
But you know what though? But even then though, Roose was like really low key undermining a lot of shit that he was saying, right? Mm-hmm. Like when Walder Frey dismissed the fact that the Blackfish was still on the loose, fucking Roose was like, as you wish, okay, you should, so like, and then he was like, I got the backing of Tywin Lannister, and Roose still kind of looked at him sideways, he like, hey. Roose is kind of turning in his head, full of maggots. But Roose is kind of is already like kind of in his head thinking about the aftermath of this. Meanwhile, Walder is just, relishing in him, having some respect, even though he still ain't got respect from the motherfuckers who are above him.
He ain't never gonna get it.
He ain't never gonna get it.
I don't know why he
that line was just. Oh, I'm sorry, Lit.
No, I'm saying I don't know why he would think that this would command respect. Who's gonna respect you after doing that?
Right.
Exactly.
Right. If anything, they think you a bitch.
So, man,
that you shared salt and bread with your fucking guests, and you took them into their home, and then you all of a sudden think that you're going, nah, nigga,
and then gave that girl a Plan B stabbing.
Damn.
God,
homicide.
Double homicide.
A Plan
oh my
B
goodness,
stabbing?
Man! Have you no shame, y'all? Y'all are something else, man.
Oh my God!
I have a dark sense of humor. I don't know if you all know that.
Bit thirsty. That was what's up.
You motherfuckers need Jesus.
Shit, Rob said I ain't gotta pull out.
Like, let me sidestep this bullshit. Yeah.
So we talk about the camera. We talk about the camera work in Game of Thrones, and like this is probably one of the most iconic instances of that like segue, like clip jump, the thing that they do a lot of times. And obviously we cut to a scene where Ramsay Bolton is eating a big ass sausage. And y'all talk to me about this scene. This scene fucked me up because I was like,
can I just say that that talking about cutting off a man's dick while holding a pork sausage right by your mouth is insane.
Hey, I'm serious. That nigga should be up on sanctions for that shit. To be quite honest with you,
why is this happening right now?
There was a lot going on in this scene.
Talk to me. Hey.
So
yeah, go ahead.
We'll save y'all. We'll do this part.
Yeah, we'll do this.
Take it.
So this is really as he's continuing his psychological torture, and Theon is thinking, "Oh my God, he's eating my dick." That's what Theon is thinking. That's what he's thinking.
Which was also insane.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But Theon is right on the breaking point. And so he's like, "Oh, you think I'm eating no, this is wonderful pork sausage," and he's just chewing it. So, but the funny thing about it is that this has been one of the better Game of Thrones memes when Ramsay Bolton holds up the sausage and he's got that look on his face like, "Oh, whatever." That's one of the funniest memes that I've seen in forever.
Right. Yeah,
that's just my twisted sense of being.
I was gonna have a sausage just to fuck with y'all, and I was like,
"Oh God,
that's wild."
That's why he's my sister.
I felt that. I felt that, dog.
My nigga.
That is. Yeah, that's sadistic.
I said they'll be scarred the rest of the show. Right.
That shit is sadistic.
Yo, by the way, the torture number. This is the 7th torture scene in 10 episodes.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Like double D's are fucking on a hot streak when it comes to goddamn torture scenes.
So Ramsay starts talking about people who have things cut off and phantom limbs, and he's like, when you get excited, do you have a phantom cock? Do you still tingle and all this shit?
Just rubbing it in.
I mean, that's
Theon just dropped his head. Theon just dropped his head like, man, his whole
Theon said, kill me now. Just kill me.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, but you think about it though, man, like you slanging dick in the north, you know what I'm saying? And like that's what you do, and you known for that.
Man.
And now it's just gone, and this nigga eating you know, he
they really let you know, they really tell you more though about they really tell you a lot more about Ramsay than about Theon. That nigga's a hater. And we know why. If you go to cut the nigga dick off, we know why.
Yeah, exactly. You know why the fuck you doing it for.
Because you're not a shower or a grower. So there you go.
A little hating, sadistic ass bastard.
Y'all know, but initially I was like, damn, did I miss a scene when that scene came on? But you know, as many gruesome things as Game of Thrones has shown us to this point, they did not like show us that actual.
Right.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yes, you know, like they shown us in the episode right before that a pregnant woman gets stabbed in the stomach. But they spared us the gelding or gelding of Theon.
I think it's gelding.
Gelding? Yeah. So I mean, like that was a crazy scene. Go ahead, keep going.
So then Ramsay, as they're having this light banter, Ramsay is like, well, you know, my mom taught me don't throw stones at cripples, but my father taught me if I'm gonna throw stones, throw them up their heads. I'm like, well, damn.
Yeah, he's a psychopath.
That's a crazy motherfucker, man.
It's kind of at this point that you realize like Joffrey got to run for his money for craziest motherfucker on the show.
Yeah.
Like,
well, see, I think Ramsay has Joffrey beat far and away just because Ramsay is really.
Ramsay is left to his
Ramsay put in his own work. He'll fight, kill you, like that little bastard.
And there's also a means to the end with Ramsay compared to Joffrey. Joffrey just does shit just to do it. Ramsay's doing. I mean, there's a reason why
Ramsay plays a long game, and Joffrey is like, I want it.
Joffrey's very impulsive, and that could be his age. But how old is Ramsay at this point? Book Kings.
I think he's like low 20s.
Yeah,
like in his 20s.
He's older, but not like
not that much.
Yeah, he's not.
Well, it could be. How was Ramsay? How was he raised? And not to delve too far, because I know we got a lot to cover. But he wasn't raised like in Ramsay's house or in Roose's house.
You know the story about Ramsay, right? Did he already tell that?
Ramsay a bastard, right?
No,
don't even bastard. That's it.
Yeah, about his mom.
Yeah,
like essentially, like Roose hung the bitch.
Did he
hang?
He told the story, I think in like season 2, where so Roose, Ramsay's mother got married to some guy, like she was married to somebody else, and Roose Bolton is the lord of the warden of wherever it was, and they didn't ask his permission, so he killed the husband and hung him. He hung him and raped the wife repeatedly beneath the tree, and out came Ramsay.
I remember that now, but I don't think we have.
I don't think we got there yet.
That's about as much as we hear from that, but that's just to kind of let like they're real big in this shit about how bastards are born of sin, so they're naturally devious and blah blah blah. Ramsay is the fucking literal incarnation of that shit.
Yeah,
like he is the bastard that's you're devious and evil like this because you have bastard's blood. Blah blah.
That motherfucker is Damien. So
at the end of the scene, after Theon says, kill me, he was like, no, we have much more fun to have. And he was like, ooh, you reek. That's your new name. And then he punches him until he says, my name is Reek.
Man, he did a Kunta Kinte on his
ass. Toby his ass.
Toby.
Man.
Well, yeah, he kind of did do a Toby on him because he already cut something off. So
it's bad when it's tough when you see someone who you don't even like at this point broken and you feel for them.
I mean, because he's going through torture 101. Like you give a captor a new name and you force that motherfucker to internalize it.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what he's doing to him.
That was nasty work. So let's go. We taking it back to the motherfucking dark ass place, right? And Bran is dreaming or something. He hears noise, and suddenly there's a figure climbing through the window into the tower. Talk to me about that, y'all.
Sam and Gilly.
Who are coming in from the other side of the wall. Yeah.
Okay. Who wants to take this? Carlton?
It's that tunnel that Sam was actually talking to Gilly about this tunnel. I think in the last episode. I think somebody in the comments asked about it. Yeah. I didn't think about it.
I asked y'all about that. I asked y'all what was the significance of that when they were in the Hunted Forest.
That's it. Yeah. That's exactly what Sam was talking about. It was this tunnel basically that the Night's Watch used as a mean, I think, to get water from the river back and forth to this well. Where Bran and them was hiding out at. So that's where all of that came. That's where that conversation came in. But that's literally where they came in and made it back to the other side of the wall from being north of the wall.
Okay. And so when Sam and Gilly arrive in there, like obviously Bran and them don't know who the fuck he is or whatever. And they like, hold up, partner. You like, slow your roll. And yeah. So Leslie, could you kind of just give us some insight into how they, I guess, make peace with one another and what the significance of the conversation that kind of happens is there?
Yeah, Sam is like, nigga, that's a direwolf, and I know a fucking direwolf when I see one. There's only fucking like 1, 2 direwolves in this fucking universe, and you got one of them. Therefore, if you a fucking Stark, then you fell out a goddamn window, you got a wheelchair, they go hold her big dick ass right there, nigga. It was a process of elimination.
Hey,
bro.
That nigga put that shit together so fucking quick.
That nigga put that shit together so fucking fast.
Anita
fell out that window.
Right.
Anita.
That goddamn window.
I gotta read Anita coming out loud. Now she gonna say, I mean, he already had Ramsay in front of him eating dick fillet. What else can he do?
Dick fillet. God damn.
I had to read it coming out.
God damn. Nigga shit comment of the night.
She won.
Anita Fisher, thou hast slain me.
It wasn't a Sunday then.
So Sam is wondering, and so Bran is like, "Nigga, we gotta get north of the wall." Sam's like, "Fuck that," because Sam's like, "You are, and therefore, if you were my brother, and I'm willing to do anything for you." And it was like, "Yeah, take us north of the wall." Nah.
No.
He like, man, well, I wish y'all niggas luck. Like,
hey,
here's the dragon.
Nigga Sam say, I ain't even gonna hold you.
Right.
I don't blame him. I mean, like,
and Sam was like, already killed one White Walker, and niggas are looking around like, you killed a fucking White Walker? Like, nobody can believe it.
Ain't nobody killed one of them things in 1,000 years. Nigga, you lying.
He's like,
So
bro, I just did the shit yesterday. And so,
look, and Gilly was like, he did it to save my baby.
Of course, also in the significance of that is they end up passing it along the dragon glass, which I think is later. I think I got a little ahead of myself, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, it's cool. So I mean, like that's pretty much that scene. One's heading north towards the wall, the others are heading away from the wall. The passing the dragon glass, which is significant because we at least know that shit kills them motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I believe the next scene is
Balon and Yara.
Yeah.
Yes. So talk to us about the gift. Since y'all were already on it, let's seriously, Queen Mother, if y'all want to continue down the path of the gifting.
So Balon is reading the letter that Ramsay wrote about what it is, and he's telling him, get your people out of the north, and I'll, send Theon back to you, and if you don't, then I'll send him to you in pieces, as other things. So part of the letter says that in the box is Theon's favorite toy. He cried when I took it from him, which is,
I bet the fuck he did.
Yeah, no shit.
I cried for Theon.
I wanted to beat Ramsay ass. I ain't even gonna lie. I really wanted to fight that nigga about that shit.
So then Balon is like, well, there's nothing I can do for him now. He's not even a man. I can't do nothing for him. No, I'm not gonna do nothing for him. And y'all was like, you
nigga, a bitch.
Scary.
Yeah.
That was like, some cold shit.
Yeah, it was.
She's like, that's my brother. That's your son. I'm going to get him. I'm going to get the 50 best killers and the fastest ship, and we're going to take care of business. Fuck you.
We's going to
I feel like Yara hit that nigga with that shit Snoop hit Jody with on Baby Boy. Nigga, is this Jody? Nigga, you's a bitch. Nigga, you ain't gonna go back and get Theon. Nigga, you's a bitch.
Yeah. But no, it's almost like Balon saw the last of his seed literally in that box. And he was like,
it's over. My line ends.
It was cold though. It was, I mean, like that was a cold ass move, but I kind of like I didn't remember Yara much from the first time I watched it. Like I binged that shit for the first 2 seasons. And but that scene, seeing Yara like be like, I'm fixing to fucking go step up for my little brother. That shit kind of like turned up. It kind of got me hyped to see her like be like, nah, I'm not gonna let him go out like this.
But you know, though, but this was this was the whole entire episode. It was about like this hope, this like, you know, this like promise of tomorrow, that tomorrow is going to be a little bit better. Yara rounding up her fucking troops, and she's like, nigga, stop me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. She's basically telling her dad, like, all right, like you ain't gonna do shit. Cool. I'm gonna round up the 50 best killers on the Iron Islands, and we gonna retrieve the heir to the Iron Islands.
That's really a good point.
He can't, you know, produce an heir on his own.
Yeah. That's really a good point. I think we already touched on Sam giving them niggas the dragon glass and telling them niggas good luck. So we ain't really got we ain't really got to get too much into that.
Good luck, nigga.
Sir Davos and Gendry are both locked up in this motherfucker, and Davos and Gendry are beginning to have a conversation. Gendry thinks that Davos is highborn because his name is Sir. And you know, they're just basically having a conversation. Davos asked Gendry, like, bro, if you ain't into all this highborn shit, then why was you in such a hurry to follow Melisandre? And Gendry basically said to that nigga, like, did you see them titties though? Like, like,
yeah, that's what he said. That's what he said.
Like, did you see the titties? Like, or no?
Niggas have fell for less.
Way less.
And
long backs.
So is there
wait a minute now.
Is there something that we should be taking from that conversation before we kind of like
wait a minute?
Well, one thing I thought was funny was Davos and Gendry thought, like you said, he was a lord and he was highborn. They forgot, nigga, you from the same hood. You just learned to read 2 weeks ago. Right, that nigga like,
nigga, I read with my finger.
That nigga said nigga when he said night. Y'all hear that shit?
I'm like, nigga.
I said, hold
on.
He said nigga.
Not with the hard G.
And said that shit twice.
The hard
H. Say it again.
He caught himself the second time. He caught himself.
Nigga,
why does shit got an H in it?
No,
nigga, I paused that. I was like, wait a minute, I don't remember this fucking word.
I definitely rewound that shit. I said, hold the fuck up, sir, now, bro.
But once again, Baratheon just slid right off his tongue. But you can't say night.
Night.
Yeah. He said, "Why the H silent?" Why
that shit was tearing his ass up.
Hey, you know what though? But she was right though. What you call was right when she was like, I don't know why the H is there.
Facts.
I don't know why the G and H is there. Nigga, we don't know.
Fucking H was tearing his ass up like that G in Charlemagne for Lil Webby. That age.
Charlemagne the golf.
Charlemagne.
Y'all got some names on y'all.
Y'all got some names on y'all.
Oh my goodness.
Charlemagne the golf.
The golf.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, I think that was pretty much the bulk of that scene. Like it was just a transitional type of scene.
Yeah, that was it was pretty much, you know, like I did this shit for my son and my son is killed. And my son is dead. So you know,
so
like
you know,
yeah.
But everything I was trying to do, that shit got fucked up in the process. So so now I'm gonna let Leslie continue talking about that goddamn Varys and Shay.
Not Varys.
And Tyrion. So Leslie, can you take us through this conversation? Why it's significant and why it seems Varys has kind of found a champion in Tyrion, or at least somebody he believes in.
Yeah, so first off, I don't know what hoe ain't gonna take no money like that. I mean, that shit is just fucking mind-blowing beyond
Mariah Mills, bro. Mariah Mills.
Like this goes to show you that Shay is just an awful fucking character. like through and through. You can't even. Shay's so bad of a character, she can't even stay true to who she is, which is a whore, right?
You a hoe that can't be bought off.
Whores don't refuse money. I don't give a fuck. Like, I mean, unless you Podrick, clearly, but other than that, that's it. And so, Varys basically.
I was wondering.
Varys sees Tyrion, and now here's the question I have, I guess, for the group, right? As soon as I kind of explain the scene, Varys is basically there on behalf of Tyrion to tell Shay that, listen, Shay, you have no place in this world. You are actually a detriment to what we are trying to accomplish, and that is trying to do something for the greater good of the realm. And we kind of also get another glimpse into Varys' true purpose in why he does what he does, and it's for the greater good of the realm. And so, after Varys tries to explain to Shay that she would have a great life with this money, that she would get tended to, there would be suitors at her doorstep, Shay says that, fuck you. Why doesn't Tyrion tell me himself? And I guess my question is, right, did Tyrion send Varys over?
I don't think so.
Hey, I don't think so either.
Varys. That's what I wondered.
I don't think so either. I thought that it was about Varys.
Yeah, I think it was all about Varys.
Yeah, I think it was about Varys. And so,
do you think she thought that this was Tyrion's doing?
Yeah,
that's what she called out at the end, right? And she stares into the abyss as she says it with that stupid ass fucking accent. Won't you send Tyrion? I can't even fucking say it. It's like a fucking French. I can't even fucking say the shit. Anyway, the bitch can't even figure out who in the fuck is what's going on. You know what? Just leave me alone.
But that
Emily said Varys told her, "How you ain't even got no last name?"
Yeah.
He said, "I have a name, one name,
Verse." And so, but this shows you that Verse is very it highlights how important he sees Tyrion as a.
He want her the fuck out of there.
Yeah, like exactly. I mean, like he legitimately like believes that. I wonder if it's because he understands like Tyrion isn't scared of Joffrey.
But this is one of those Verse moves though. Like we've seen him do this. This is not the first time this is like the second or third time I think we've seen him making his own little moves as he sees fit to benefit and serve the realm as he calls. So, we've seen him do this shit a couple of times,
and it's always for the realm. Like everything,
always
it's
for the realm.
And it's
never like
about
Littlefinger's move.
Never about him or his gain or anything.
Yeah,
that motherfucker been consistent.
And that damn Shay threw the diamonds. Yeah,
that damn Shay diamonds back.
Threw the diamonds on the floor.
Yeah.
So, and she must didn't know real hoe get down on the floor. So, anyway,
where them
girls
get down? Where them girls get down?
On the floor. So
she's a furniture hoe.
So I think Tyrion, this is what the scene I think Leslie alluded to. Tyrion and Podrick are drinking.
Yes, they were drinking. I said that earlier. I'm sorry. They weren't drinking then. They're drinking now.
Okay. Yeah. So keep going. Can you tell us a little bit about the conversation between Cersei and Tyrion?
Cersei really is trying to reason with Tyrion by reminding him that Joffrey was a good baby. It's kind of like she's like he was a good baby.
He was sweet for them 2 years.
I didn't know what happened, but he was a good baby.
The bare minimum of a baby being a fuking baby.
Right.
The nigga had no physical capabilities, bitch.
None. He had no language. He couldn't walk, bitch.
When that motherfucker started talking, he was evil.
Right. So Cersei is talking about Joffrey and how there's children that how good of a baby he was. I think she's really just trying to. I think she understands how diabolical Tyrion can be, and she's trying to get in his good graces again because she knows Joffrey isn't going to do it, so she's doing it on his behalf.
Yeah, that's a good point. I can respect a mother's perspective on that because I look at it and was hearing it and was like, well, shit, Tyrion might really kill Joffrey at this point. Like he might try. You know, somehow, some way. Yeah, if he could touch him, if he could somehow touch him, he would at this point.
Tyrion said nothing worse than a late blooming philosopher.
That nigga bad.
Hey, that nigga had some shots.
Headshots at Cersei, bro.
He was letting off rounds this episode though. Tyrion had him coming this episode, all episode for everybody.
But this was also the conversation when they were like, you know, I mean, like for every enemy we kill, we make 2 more, and Cersei just acknowledged that, well, shit, we'll be fighting for a long fucking time, and she's okay with that because her, you know, in her whole recollection, she's just thinking about how the only decent thing about her is that the fact that she's a caring mother, and she was like, if they take that away from me, which is some heavy ass foreshadowing.
Yes,
and basically, I have nothing left.
Yes, you know? And she to continue with foreshadowing potentially. She said Tyrion asked her, "You have children. How happy would you say you are?" She says, "Not very, but if it wasn't for my children, I'd throw myself from the highest window of the Red Keep." I was just thinking on my Alanis Morissette shit. Isn't this ironic? Don't you think? Like. You know, I don't want to.
Nigga Tommy went.
Superman now.
I ain't never seen nigga. Hey, I chill out, man. We got folks on here.
Yeah, my bad. But I'm just saying. I'm like, damn man. That was very Pacific when she said that.
Boogaloo.
No feeling or nothing in it.
Swag surfing tea. Swag surfing.
Oh my God.
When I saw that fucking scene, I was like, what this nigga do? Oh shit.
Bruh.
What if it was a balcony under it?
So we get to a seminal moment for Arya in the next scene, right? As she and the Hound are riding through the woods, away from, you know, the what they just witnessed and shit, right?
Them bitch ass niggas talking that shit.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I think said the hardest thing to do was to get in the wolf head to stay on the body, and I'm like, I agree with that. That shit seemed like it was mighty difficult.
They nailed it. Them niggas nailed that shit.
Like they was talking Cash Money shit about how Cat sounded when she got her throat cut.
Like them niggas was right in the thick of the shit.
Right.
Yeah. Facts.
And they was talking Cash Money shit about it. Like, yeah, man, nigga, I'm the one who did it. And this is the first time we see what Queen Mother's talked about earlier with the villain origin story. Arya literally snaps to the point where she don't give a fuck what's going on no more at this point. She see this dude is on site right now, and she proceeds to walk up to them just as calmly and makes conversation with them. And in the middle of making conversation with him, she walks right up on old boy and jugs him in the neck like it's an episode of Oz, dog.
A straight fucking got that dog in it. And, you know, like, and I know that C-Note, I know that Carlton will respect my name because, like, I mean, she just pulled up shooting niggas. Like, I mean,
because she pulled up on a fucking double, triple, quadruple team and was like, I wasn't nowhere in sight. When she took the first shot, Hound wasn't nowhere in sight. She was really just like, listen, whatever happens, happens. But I'm taking this nigga the fuck out.
This fucking ball.
Yeah.
I'm shooting this fucking ball. We
she said she shooting the like
over 5 motherfuckers defending him. And that's what the fuck she did.
Listen, hey, Ray said phone check, nigga, phone check. I swear to God, I was like, is this an episode of Oz, dog? Like Arya was jugging. She hit him about 7 times in the jungle before the Hound even came into the scene. And by that time, you know, the Hound finished him off, and he asked her, what did he ask her? Like, where you get the knife? She said, nigga, I got it from you.
That nigga Hound say,
that nigga said, like,
bitch.
Then the next thing he said, tell me the next time you finna do some shit like that.
Give me a warning.
The way that nigga looked at his hip, I'm like, nigga, shit. Hound's just realizing his ass could have got jugged at any moment. He didn't even know. That's what that face was about. Like this little bitch, she been talking shit. She really could have jugged my ass.
Like so, CJ.
First kill.
And so CJ, and so when she got that, and so like when she displayed the coin, and the coin was obviously from somewhere. Do you know who gave her the coin? Was
that motherfucking Jaqueen, her girl gave her that goddamn coin? Hey, I know my Game of Thrones, goddamn it. You know what I'm saying?
Goddamn
Test me.
Goddamn it.
Test me.
One for the Jaqueen, her girl.
Motherfucking J.A. H apostrophe a G-H-A-R, goddamn it.
Not the spelling bee in Mississippi too.
Not to be confused with Jaqueen Phoenix. You know what I'm talking about?
Stop while you ahead.
I'm joking. I'm just playing. Relax.
Like, but this scene just reminds me, it's just, you know, the old saying, the old Stark saying, leave one wolf alive and the sheep are never safe. You know, this is what's happening. This is the origin story of fucking Arya.
Yeah, man. And it's a beautiful story, man. So that's
born in blood, nigga. Born in blood, get it in blood, fuck nigga.
So now Arya Stark is on the board, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
On the board. And notice how she said that this was her first time killing a man. Now she's already killed a boy before, but this is her first time actually killing a man. So
true that.
So that was a little bit of acknowledgement towards her actual second kill.
Yeah, true. This is a second kill. Kill. Yeah. First grown man. Yeah. So okay. In the next scene, Jon Snow is drinking water at the river when Ygritte proceeds to
that crazy
shoot that nigga.
Get your side.
Ygritte shot that nigga in the ass 3 times with arrows. And I'm just trying to figure out, like, nigga, you shoot me once with an arrow. I'm not sticking around to get shot in the ass with 2 more. What's up?
For one, you're not an arrow, nigga. I don't even think I'm moving.
Like, why you didn't hide behind the horse or something?
Hey,
like,
that nigga, man, I don't know how that
ain't gonna
nigga
shoot
made it
me
back up on that fucking horse. That nigga got on that horse and hauled ass.
Girl, you ain't gonna shoot me. You love me. Proceeds to shoot that nigga dead in the ass.
I don't know how much
that nigga tried to turn around and walk off, dog. Like, he was like, you got me fucked up.
But that just shows you she really could have killed him because it took him forever to get to that horse.
Yeah,
well, I think they well, should I again? I'm getting ahead of myself, but they make reference to that shit. Her missing, like basically she was. Yeah. You know, they talk about her accuracy basically. So she definitely meant to miss. Yeah. She just wanted to fuck him up. She just wanted to fuck him up real bad.
Yeah. It's also kind of one of those things to where like he goes back to the wall with some actual war wounds. And where his story is actually believable that he was. Trying to infiltrate the wildlings, and there was a big battle commencing amongst them.
Yeah, which is important because y'all know that one. I mean, like to the listeners, one of the rules is you can't abandon the Night's Watch, right? Like if you desert, then that's instant death. Yeah. So, okay, shit, y'all, I'm fucking lost. Where the fuck are we?
Sam and Gilly arrived at Castle Black. And they're talking to Maester Aemon.
Take us on through there.
So, Sam is trying to relay their story of how they got back, and then Maester Aemon, here's the baby, and he's like, Samwell, did you forget your vows? And I think that's the funniest thing in the world. And then they're looking at each other. She's like, "That's not his baby. It's And then Sam just said, "That's one of Craster's boys." And so that's how they get out of that. But then she says the baby's name is Sam. So that's why Maester Aemon.
Sam like bitch.
that was a funny shit though.
Yeah. That was because Sam jizzed a bit. Sam jizzed a bit when she said that. He did.
So then, as they're relaying their story and how they got back and everything, Maester Aemon is like, Tarly, get to the desk and get a quill. And so all the ravens fly tonight. Well, he's about to send out the word that Robb Stark is dead to whomever might not know, because people in the north don't know that. Certain other people don't know that. Stannis at Dragonstone doesn't know that because, of course, he's off on his island all alone, pouting. but that's another story for another time.
Yeah.
And so then it cuts to Dragonstone. So who wants to take over now? Or am I continuing?
Nah, like just that Sam had to write 44 letters. And nigga told me to write 40. The nigga told me to write 4 letters. I'd be like, nigga, I quit. Like, I can't do that.
You finna desert.
If Sam can't do nothing else, he can write his ass off.
Well, I can't do that.
He won't move his ass, but that's a figurative term.
Can't do that.
That's the arm that he
put. His letters though weren't about Rob though. Where I thought his letters were about the White Walkers.
Oh, it was about the White Walkers.
His letter was about the White Walkers and all that shit.
And Lord Mormont being dead too.
Yeah, Lord, come on.
Plus, he gets dialysis in his left arm, so it would have been hard for him to write that much.
So they basically send out the mass email to let everybody know, oh nigga, it's the winter is really coming now. So
winter is here.
It's here. So motherfuckers get ready. And in the next scene.
That's what Devos has reading like a third grader. He say nigga.
Yes.
Nigga.
So,
nigga. Nigga.
That's the nigga scene, and so that's the significance of that shit.
And then he go free Gendry because they was finna sacrifice Gendry ass. So I just I hurry up to that point.
That's when he finds out about the he finds out and lets Melisandre. Well, he didn't let Melisandre know. He lets Stannis know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He lets Stannis know about Winter being on his way in the Night's. I mean, not the Night's Watch, but the White Walkers coming, right?
No, he lets him know about Rob being dead.
Oh, okay.
And Melisandre's like, yeah, bitch.
But Melisandre said, I take no credit. I have faith. I have faith that my faith has been rewarded.
Faith in the Lord.
And turn around, she just getting burnt.
But after that, Sir Davos is like, yeah, well,
let me tell you about my Jesus.
I mean, that's what I thought about when she said that shit, dog. That's really what I thought about. I'm like, man, I have seen the gloat before. I've seen the gloat.
And I'm gonna stand up, guy.
But after that conversation takes place,
Melisandre's like, let's burn Gendry. I mean, like Gendry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that so
like, don't do that shit.
Like, so that shit had worked with the leeches. Let's just burn his ass. I like we just can't get some more leeches off this nigga.
Yeah, like
she want to fucking sacrifice everybody.
Like, so nigga, we gotta burn him.
Yeah,
the leeches work.
Yeah, like
he loves a barbecue. What can I tell you? She's an outdoor girl. She loves a barbecue.
When she had faith in when she had faith in her Lord, I guess she was just like, well, shit. You know what I mean? I want to see him. I really want to see him work a miracle right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Also, by the way, I don't know if y'all niggas have ever rowed a boat and actually done some rowing.
Oh, but it's hard.
I don't know if y'all niggas know how hard that shit is.
Hey, and then listen, you can't run no fucking boat like that in no open fucking seawater.
No.
Bruh.
Open seawater.
And you got to navigate that shit?
No.
And you've never done it.
And look, that nigga had never been in a boat and can't swim.
It can't swim. And never, come on now. And you gonna go take your ass to King's fucking
From Dragonstone, nigga. That's a long flight on Dragonback, nigga.
Yeah, nigga, don't Dragon back.
They talk about on House of the Dragon how fucking Daemon and his wife used to race back and forth to that bitch. Like, come on, man. This nigga gonna row a fucking. Come on, man.
Gonna row a fucking boat.
That's the boat, man. That's the boat made to row out to the big boat.
Right.
But that's how Gendry got strong, though. You know what I mean? Like, by the time he get there, he gonna be strong.
She said, "Won't he do it?"
I don't think we see that nigga Gendry. I don't think we see that nigga Gendry again for like 2 seasons. Like that nigga was rowing for 2 seasons.
More than that, shit.
Yeah. And then he got Khal Drogo arms because he's been rowing that whole time. Right,
that nigga is moving, bro. So
that nigga is moving.
nigga definitely has to, like, we gotta find that shit gotta find its way into the Watch Them Thrones list, bro.
Yeah, that nigga is moving. Fucking nigga.
So after this, Jon finally makes it back to the wall with the 3 arrows in his ass, and
he
nice
fell
fight.
on the fucking arrows, by the way.
Man,
yeah.
Which another one of the book differences, that nigga made it back a lot fucking worse off in the book.
Yeah,
like he was really fucked in the book.
Yeah,
he was on the brink of death. Fever and shit. Like the nigga in this shit, he damn near bounced back in a couple episodes. In the book, Jon was down bad for a long time.
I ain't gonna lie, it's a lot of reasons why you think Jon Snow is Neo in the Matrix. Like after a lot of the shit that you witnessed with Jon Snow,
escape death a lot.
Man. Yeah, like so. I mean, like you like okay, well clearly this show is about him and one other character, So at least that's the way I perceive this shit. But I guess in looking at it again, I am witnessing the odyssey of the broken as well. So anyway, after Jon makes it back, they take him and they patch him up and shit like that. Next, Jaime returns to King's Landing.
Finally. That nasty ass stump.
Who want to take it? I mean, but when he gets back, like he's no longer Jaime Lannister.
No,
the golden haired.
I got you.
Come on, talk to us.
He walks through the street. Nobody recognizes him. He looks so defeated and he stinks. You can tell his eyes are all red. He looks like he's been in Flea Bottom for the last 2 months. But
nigga, you dirty.
Nigga, you dirty, right? So nobody. He somehow makes it up. I wish they would have shown how he got past the guards, but he makes it up to. I guess they recognize him at that point. He makes it up to Cersei's room, and she is on her chaise lounge, looking at a box of memorabilia from the children, and kind of having her own little moment, another soft Cersei moment. And he calls her name. She doesn't turn around. She you can see the relief on her face when he calls her name, but when she turns around,
she saw that goddamn stump.
Shit.
Nigga, fuck
I ain't signed up for this shit.
It's almost like when you see your high school crush and it's been 20 years and they're like, oh, my 600-pound life.
Oh, damn.
Like 3 years later and
I really used to be picking out outfits for your motherfucking
I wish they really got into I wish they got into Cersei's Horror Chronicles at this point, because Jaime had to come back and find Jaime came back, because he did all this fighting to get back to her, and he comes back to find out she just fucked half the fucking Kingsguard and Lancel Lannister. So I wish they would have dove into that shit.
Cersei was out there bussing it
Osmond, Kettle Black, now them niggas was getting that line. They was getting that line twice.
Cersei
was putting that work.
Let me change my name real quick.
Nah, nigga, you there now?
It's too late, Cersei.
It's too late.
Let that be.
Yeah, we already know what you about.
Oh, wow.
So wait. So
don't worry about
it.
So we hear from we hear that death marches upon the wall. Who makes this statement? Death marches upon the wall. Who says that?
Is that one of the letters? Is that when Davos is reading the letter to
Stannis?
Maybe so.
It was Davos and Stannis.
Yeah. Because basically, Davos is free Gendry at this point, and Stannis is on some, man, I done told your ass one too many fucking times, bro. Nigga, you got to die. And so Davos's fucking trump card is, hey, but I got this shit, you gonna need me. And so he reads the letter, and it's basically about, it's the letter that Sam has sent out to all corners of the kingdom, basically saying that White Walkers are back, nigga, everybody finna die, send help.
And Stannis said, nigga, you can read?
Who taught you how to read?
Right, fuck the contents of the letter. Nigga, who taught you how to read?
Reading shit.
But the significance, of course, in that is Melisandre reads the letter, and her whole she was furious at Davos for freeing Gendry, and immediately upon reading that letter, her whole demeanor just changes. And they let you know how the seriousness of not only this god that she praises, but the threat to the north, and what this god that she praises is really about. You know what I'm saying? So I'll let you really see that shit kind of starting to come together too.
So yeah, but also it's just that like how all of these characters in this book, right? They got a certain part to play, and that you're thinking to yourself, well, as fucked up and evil as Melisandre is, can she do some good, right? Is she somebody that can help defeat the White Walkers? And you know,
and in that moment, she saves Davos. She agrees that hey, he does have a part to play, and Stannis has a little chuckle about it, like nigga, see, you part of the army now too, nigga. Lord of Light, nigga.
He just saved your ass. he just saved your ass.
Your ass, nigga.
Oh, hey, Dad.
I drank the blood, ate the body.
So through all of that shit, you can really tell that Melisandre knew what that letter was about, and that shit, it wasn't no bullshit.
Right.
You know, she had been, and honestly, she had been alluding to shit like this before. She sees visions and shit in the flames, so we can kind of say she probably seen something coming. She just didn't know what, so the letter probably helped tie some shit together.
Her interpretations are always off in some damn way.
Yeah, that's what's scary. Her interpretations aren't always accurate.
Right.
But she does be seeing shit.
Yeah. It's like Melisandre's interpretations are like Luther's curl. It just never really.
Never too much. Never too much. Never too much.
Luther almost. Hey, we like an hour and 15 in. Luther almost made it.
He almost made it.
Damn, that's
almost.
Crazy. My bad.
Almost
Luther.
doesn't count. Almost doesn't count. So look, we don't really see a lot of Khaleesi, a lot of Dany, and what's going on over there much in this episode. Ultimately, until the very last scene. So can y'all talk to me about that? Kind of just set that up and help me make sense of what we were witnessing.
They're just at this point in the episode, or the scene. They're waiting outside of the city, outside of Yunkai. Shout out to TK.
Juntao.
So they're waiting, and she's getting kind of antsy at this point. She's anxious, she's nervous because the city has just been sacked, and to this point with Dany, all we've seen her as a liberator. That's been her main focus. That's been her primary focus. Her only focus is liberating the people or the slaves that she's come into contact with. My bad, Emily. I so they're waiting, and then finally the gates open, and the people start to come out, and these niggas is deep. Like, damn, there's a lot of fucking slave niggas in here. So they come out. And
by the way, literally.
My goodness.
So they come out, they trickle out one by one or whatever, and Other Bay, she starts breaking down all the titles and shit. Like, hey, my girl just saved y'all. Hot girl summer in this bitch. You feel me? Green grass, mother of the dragons and shit. Get it how you living. And Khaleesi's like, wait. Don't hit him with all that. Don't hit him with all that. So, Khaleesi try to hit him with a little bit more subtle shit. Like, I freed y'all niggas, but it's really up to y'all niggas to free y'all niggas. You feel me? So, and then they start hitting her with the MHYSA. She becomes MHYSA, which in it's a Old Ghiscari term for mother. And so, everybody's reaching out. At which point she realizes, that these people love her. They're here for her. They're not going to hurt her. So she commands the Unsullied to move aside. She tells the dragons to fly off in this poetic ass scene of them flying around in circles and her, falling into the embrace of all the people. And Jordan them up there nervous and shit. But I'm like, Barristan ass got his hand on the hilt of his fucking sword. But I'm like, your old ass ain't gonna make it out there if they wanted to do something.
So this is like the second time in one of the seasons that the season ends with Dany in like this, in like a
a white savior mode.
A Christ-like white savior. You know what I mean? She's
over here rescuing a bunch of dark-skinned Dominicans. You know,
they touching
Angelina Jolie ass.
They touching the hem. They touching the hem of her garment, type of shit. You know what I mean?
She looks like extra white when they're raising her up. It's like a fucking. It's like one of Whitney's rocks, right? It's just white as can fucking be.
Whitney didn't make it through this episode.
I had like when you said that Luther shit, I was like, you know what? I got something for this thing.
She done lost her Dothraki tan.
Yeah. She's just like super white. The hair is white. Her skin is fucking white.
PK said, Yunkai, Cobra Kai, I don't give a fuck.
She crowd surfed, so that's the whitest that you can get.
Facts.
Yeah, they should have sweated
whiter than the Alabama snow bunny with mixed shit.
They should have,
But the visual of her in the middle of that crowd is going to be repeated. So that's why they had that top shot, and you're looking down on her in the middle of the crowd, and it's circle on circle on circle on circle, and she's in the middle of it and up on people's shoulders. Mm-hmm. You're going to see that configuration again.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You're going to see a similar scene with a different character, and it's going to be like that.
And the dragons are flying above also. So
yes, and the dragons are flying around.
It's a majestic scene though. Like, I mean,
it is.
You again. I mean, I guess that's where they leave you this season.
Mm-hmm. Yes, hope. It's like you said, hope. Even if it is fucking Christopher Columbus going to the Jamaicans or some shit.
Yeah. Like
that's what it fucking.
This scene though, like I'm not this scene, but like this episode, even though I agree with Leslie, like it was a lot about hope, it also like it left you. After, again, watching this shit the first time through, like I said, at that point, I hadn't read the books, hadn't listened to the audio books, anything like that. Yeah. Like, it left you like, I was in a bad fucking place. I was still down from the fucking red wedding. So I'm like, these niggas ain't addressed this shit enough. You niggas just another nigga. Well, I was in a bad way, y'all. That shit hurt me. I was like,
you didn't think Arya kind of addressed it a little bit, at least enough to where you were thinking to yourself, all right, you know what though? This motherfucker gonna get some get back eventually. You ain't think that? I mean, but at the same time, it was like so far off that you were just like, fuck, I need some.
At that point in time, I don't even think Arya murking that nigga was even significant enough to me to be like, that was some. Man, I was like, nah, fuck that. These niggas got to die. And then nigga was in there eating ham and potatoes, talking about it and shit. I was like, man, fuck Walder Frey now.
So like, I guess for
me, fuck Hector.
At that point, it was kind of like, I was rooting for the Starks before the Red Wedding. I was rooting for the Starks, and I was also rooting for Dany, but like kind of rooting for Dany at that point. But definitely rooting for the Starks at that point. And so, literally, when you see the Starks die off, kind of your hope dies with that. Like that's what this story is actually about. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like they kind of hit you with what they call that shit, the Kansas City Shuffle, where they had you looking one way and doing something else.
Well, you been watching Lucky Number 11, and then
that's a good movie. That's a very good movie. That's a very good movie. That's one of my favorite. I'm telling you, that's a good ass movie. If you haven't seen it, you need to see that shit.
Great fucking movie.
That is an amazing fucking movie.
And so it's like, okay,
Lucky Number 11.
Okay. I see that.
Amazing dialogue. That's some of the best dialogue in a movie I've ever seen.
Yeah. It's almost like a noir, but like a current, like contemporary noir. And so you ultimately see Dany kind of being this focal point at the end of 2 seasons now. So we 3 seasons in. Dany, the 2 seasons have ended. I feel like 2 of them. I can't remember how season 2 ended. But it might have ended
with the fucking White Walkers.
That's right. Right, but season
1 and 3 both ended with Dany.
And so you begin to kind of be like, oh, okay, I don't have to lose hope altogether. Like maybe because the main thing you don't want is for the Lannisters to win. Like, at least, I guess I was rooting for that.
Hold on one goddamn minute now.
I do not want them niggas to win, dog.
Because I wanted Tyrion to win. I don't give a fuck what y'all talking
right
about.
There, though, that was
I don't consider Tyrion a regular Lannister.
And I hope they burn in hell. Like
that shit was the complexity of Game of Thrones. That's why this show stands out above the rest. Like you literally, it's like, yeah. You really don't know who the fuck to root for. It's like there is no good or evil in this shit. It's really just.
Why is it like the worst thing in the world to root for Tywin a little bit? I get it. You know, I'm a Tywin fucking fan.
I love Tywin.
That nigga told his son this episode. That nigga told his son this episode. You want to know when was the time I picked my family over myself? The time when I done threw your ass in the ocean, little nigga.
I should have took you to the sea.
That's some cold shit to tell somebody, dog.
And it's like, dog, why does Tyrion keep setting himself up to be cooked like that?
No, man. Just shut up. Just don't even.
When you ever, nigga, like every time he puffed his chest up at his daddy put it back in his fucking place.
Man, I felt bad for Tyrion after he said that shit to him.
Except for that one time on the Charlotte.
Yeah. To be continued. So I mean,
she's not. Don't usually call her a
whore. Usually we are not this close to being. We have not gone through the episode usually this fast by this point. So I guess even though y'all have already seen, like, can y'all set the framework for what we should be expecting, or at least some of what's coming in season 4?
Well, like I said, I feel like, in episode 10, they didn't address enough of, what happened at the Red Wedding. So I expect, of course, to see, some follow-up with that going into episode 1, hopefully. Just more follow-up with where Khaleesi is and this building of her army and these slaves.
More Ramsay shenanigans.
More fucking crazy-ass Ramsay. The hell, man. It's a lot of shit, man. It's a lot of shit.
Joffrey and her arc.
Joffrey ain't even got married yet.
The Mountain and the Viper. That's it.
Hey.
That's it, nigga.
So the trauma
Mountain and the Viper, baby.
Oberyn being introduced in general, but again, I don't want to say too much.
One of my favorite characters ever.
Don't forget, Qyburn and Brienne were with Jaime coming back to
King's Landing.
King's Landing. So Qyburn is now in the Red Keep.
And I didn't notice him until this rewatch. I didn't notice that he was in the party.
Oh yeah. Qyburn was there in the background.
Jaime needed somebody to tend to that damn stinking ass stump.
Right.
Yeah. So what's the name? Escaped the Red Wedding.
The Blackfish.
Blackfish.
Yeah.
So Blackfish escaped. So like
they had to do that because he actually wasn't even fucking there.
He wasn't even at the wedding.
Okay.
But the Blackfish is a bad motherfucker. I mean, in the way that, like I said, the way that fucking Walder kind of dismissed him, and Roose was like, I ain't nigga, do that shit if you want to.
Right. This nigga legend around these parts, cuz.
Yeah, right.
And that damn verse.
That damn
Lester said that damn verse.
Not verse.
Thanks, Celestia. If she only knew how many times we've said it.
Yeah, we have definitely said it tonight. And before we get up out of here tonight, I want to say happy birthday to Queen Mother Ojenna Tyrell. Happy birthday to you. We love you.
I'm just 21 and I'm waiting to be kissed.
There it is. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, look. Hey,
you want a Velveteen kiss?
And Stevie Wonder said, yeah, girl, you 21. Happy birthday to you.
These niggas ain't shit. So,
and that's why I love y'all motherfuckers.
Yes, I love you, and we love you back. We love you back, man. And we love y'all too in the audience, man. Like it's so much fun doing this shit with y'all. It'd be hard to get off of here with y'all because we be talking cash money shit, and I look forward to it. I
have one thing to say. Yes. If you want to go see a really great movie, go see Oppenheimer. Go with the empty bladder.
Oh shit!
That shit is a hard 3 hours.
God damn.
That shit is like 3 hours on the dot.
I might have to wait for the streaming.
So a few of y'all went and seen it already.
though.
Yeah.
Because there's some visual effects, man. That's just like fucking,
really
that shit rivals as far as like
they fucking list. Goddamn.
The overall story of how the American government treated him, and he was supposed to be their golden boy. So that's just something that's been ingrained for 250 years almost.
I guess I've been trying to wrap my mind around seeing a Nolan film that doesn't try to fuck me up. Yeah. Or wait. So this is the dude that does all of the like Inception movies and shit, right? Like
Inception,
Memento,
all
of the confusing shit. And
Memento.
So
this one is not.
It's not like that.
It's basically a biopic of.
It is a biopic. So all the people that you see and hear, but yeah, it was a trip. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, I was what the fuck the whole time.
Okay.
And I was like, damn. Yeah, it was deep. It was deep though. It was deep.
Y'all done went and watched Oppenheimer and I saw Barbie.
So tell us a little bit about Barbie.
Barbieheimer.
Right?
Dress correct. Y'all know I can't correct. Dress correct. Do not come in there looking crazy. It was a good movie.
Those two movies combined had the 4th highest opening box office weekend ever.
All time.
Yeah.
It has a lot of good
made like 150 million.
They did some good ass marketing.
They both did numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did some good ass marketing.
I was just waiting on fucking Ninja Turtles and shit, yo.
Mm-hmm. Ninja Turtles with the one with the black April O'Neil, or this is a different one?
No, it's animated.
Oh, okay.
I'm aware.
But yes, she's black.
She black in the cartoon,
really
right?
did have good messages though. It was a good movie.
Oh, she black in the motherfucker too.
Yeah. Listen, fam. I guess on that note, man. Look, I don't know that we have much else to say this evening because shit, we done touched on all them motherfuckers. You know what I mean? In the words of Big Son.
Expose up.
How you get out this motherfucker?
How do you lead this motherfucker? Hey man, y'all be good, man. Watch them Thrones group coming soon. Watch them Thrones group coming soon. Y'all be checking the Black Widow Chaser page for that. It's coming.
Amen.
All right, y'all. Peace.